My name is Philip Kinane. I farm in partnership with my brother Michael here in the middle of Ireland in County Tipperary, in the middle of County Tipperary even. The farm is on principally limestone, dryish land, the vast majority of it, hence a fairly high molybdenum level, hence a fairly difficult situation with copper. We run a pedigree herd of Holstein cows. The majority are pedigree Holstein cows, potentially fairly high yielding. We try and run them in a high grassland input system, using as much grass technology as we can. We're trying to keep high quality grass in front of them for as many days in the year as we can, and we try and minimise all other inputs. Now, having said that, they do get a small amount of concentrate every day while they're milking. We would consider it false economy with our type of cow to try and work them without some concentrate all the time. Many of the cows would be doing over 2,000 gallons in that system. We put as much grass in as we can. We minimise other inputs, as I said, so our cows wouldn't have the benefit of getting vast amounts of minerals and vitamins from concentrates that other herds might get in a similar situation. So we looked for an alternative way of getting trace elements into them. And as I said, it's a high molybdenum area. Copper was always a problem. So we heard about the boluses and we decided we'd go down that route. And so far we have absolutely no regrets for having gone down the bolus route.
Before you started using the Allsure bolus, what type of health problems were you having in the herd?
We have the same health problems I suppose everybody has. Infertility is a big issue on every dairy farm. It's a constant battle. And then there are the normal health issues that you'd have with a fairly high yielding herd of dairy cows, mastitis, lameness, etc. But infertility would be the principal one that would be worrying us and probably costing us the most money.
Since you've started using the boluses, have you noticed improvements in that area?
We have. It's difficult to give a specific straight answer to the question because we're also tweaking various other things. We're vaccinating for various diseases like BVD and IBR, and we're being more careful with calf rearing, and just in case there's a ioanase issue, the calves are removed from the home farm as quick as we can, and they mightn't come back until just before they calve. We put a lot of emphasis on fertility work on the farm. They're not tail painted here today now because the breeding season is over, but we would tail paint. We do a certain amount of ultrasound scanning during the year. One thing we're using less and less of now is hormones to try and encourage them into heat, and that we would hope that if we get other things right, that there'll be less need to use prostaglandins and the other hormones in order to bring them around, and that maybe their own power might do it, and a bit of time and good nutrition. Again, that brought us back to boluses as a very convenient method and a very sure method of getting in trace elements into them. We had been using dry cow minerals, and we had been adding various potions to water and that to get them in that way, but you were never sure of what each cow was getting or if each cow was getting the amount she needed, whereas with the bolus it's very, very sure. Each cow gets what you give her, and we have found that the loss rate is absolutely minimal with the boluses, and we'd monitor that fairly carefully. Now you can see that grass is grazed down fairly close. If there were boluses on the ground, it would be easy enough to spot them. Administration of them is very simple. That wouldn't bother us at all. We don't have a neck scoop. If we had, it would be a wonderful tool, all right. But these are Cam Holstein cows. They're used to being handled. They don't offer much resistance. And if there was two of us there, we'd dose them as fast as they come out of the milking parlour. There's no real problem administering the boluses whatsoever.
Michael, are you convinced by the effectiveness of the Allsure boluses?
Well, the one big plus I think about the Allsure boluses is they are afterbirths. They just clean like that. We used to have a problem with holding afterbirths, and we have no problem now. That is a big plus, because you have to wash out the cow, and there's other methods we have to do, and all that is in it. We really think Sure Bolus is a big plus to the thing. Their coats, you see the coats from the cow, we have no problems that way, since we started using them.
What had you been using prior to the boluses?
We have been using some copper in water, a lot of dry cow minerals, a very high iodine mineral. We found it not really working compared to the Allsure boluses.
And how did it compare cost-wise?
Cost really doesn't come into it if the thing works. And we actually think this thing is working, So we're going to stay with it for another while anyhow, so we will.
Another point I'd like to make is that as dairy farmers, as well as being in the food business, we're in the health business. We're producing one of the healthiest foods that nature ever gave mankind. and we're trying to improve the quality of that food continually and maintain the quality of that food. So if the boluses can help us to do that, to get in those few trace elements that will help the cow to be healthier herself and produce a healthier quality product, we don't begrudge the cow that bolus.